The woods are strangely quiet today, guys. So I've got the parabolic dish with me here. We're gonna go back. Set up on the big rock back here and make some recordings. Just feels eerily quiet. Somebody on the last video mentioned, well, a couple things, but right there is one of my trails, guys. You can kind of see the break in the undergrowth right there. Goes right there. Okay, that's one of my trails. Why else would I come out here and cut a tree in the middle of the swamp? Okay, so that's what I'm out here doing, is clearing trails. Somebody said that I had messed with Bigfoot's looping structure, and that's why they messed with my hunting blind. Well, no, I did not. The looper is right there. I didn't cut it, didn't touch it. I don't know if these bugs are going to be just bad enough to make all of our recordings, you know, moot. Is that all we're going to hear is mosquitoes? So I guess I will say the same thing now here on camera that I said in the comment section of the last video. I don't think Bigfoot put my chair in that tree. I think a human did. Now, that being said, it's strange to me. You guys saw the walk. You guys know what it takes to go back there in the bugs, in the dark, in the mud, in the lonely. Who's back there? Nobody that I know of. So what is going on? And if it was kids, okay, and they found my blind, why didn't they kick it in or cut it up or just destroy it like they usually do? I don't know. I was expecting 100% for me to zip that thing down and look in there and see a homeless dude in there. I don't know why he would put the chair in the tree, but this is what I was thinking. I'm like, some homeless dude is now living in my blind, is what I thought. Okay, that's twice now I've heard like brush moving way over there. Also, this is the first video that we are making with the new Panasonic camcorder. I don't know, I'm still on the fence. It has a lot of great features, but I can tell you guys honestly, I feel that the image quality is not as good as the Sony was. Just under. I mean, it's pretty good. It has a lot more zoom, but that zoom obviously comes at a cost of quality of video, right? The more you zoom in, the more the image is dark, the more grainy it gets. And then secondly, the stabilization is not as good as the Sony Ax53. Guys online, I saw a couple people claiming to be experts. Well, I used that camera for 8 years, guys. If I'm not an expert on that camera, I don't know who is. The stabilization on this camera is excellent. It is better than the high-end Sony Ax700, which has electronic stabilization, same as this, but this is not as good as that gyro system that's in the Ax53. The lens is literally mounted on its own gyro. You can't beat that. This is very smooth, but if your hand suddenly shakes a little bit, the whole image, it leads to me having to cut out a lot of video. So enough blabbing about this new camera, but just be aware that we are on a new camera. You guys let me know in the comments below, what do you think? I think the color science is a little wonky. Skin tones look weird. There's a green cast in a lot of the, I mean, I know we're out in the forest, but it either goes from like too green, but skin color is too pink, if that makes sense. Usually it's either too green or too red, one or the other, and the whole image is that way. But nah, this camera is weird. Everything else has a green cast and skin colors are very pink. We now also have a 48 times zoom with this camcorder, so we can get in quite a bit closer. I believe the Sony only had 20 times. So a trick I've learned a long time ago is to put the recorder down and get at least 10-15 feet away from it, because the mosquitoes will be all around me and not the recorder. And I'll just pick a direction, we'll point it back kind of in the direction we came from, do a 10-minute recording, then we'll switch directions. Maybe we'll point it down here for 10 minutes. We'll just see if we get any distant wood knocks or anything like that. I can hear something right now, guys. It sounds like rock clacking, like two rocks being smashed together. It's distant, but I can hear it. We've heard that before. It's very distinct. It's not wood. It's coming from the opposite direction, so I've moved the recorder. Okay, I don't hear it anymore. It's been 7 or 8 minutes. I am going to leave that recorder recording. That is the direction, vaguely, of the stone box that we left the barred owl feather in. I stuck it right in the middle. We left it, we found it on the trail, and that's where I moved it to. Let's go over there. It's probably 500 or 600 yards over there. Let's go to that stone box. I'm going to leave the recorder here behind us recording in case it picks up anything else while we're gone. It's got to be 30 degrees Celsius already, guys. I wear the long sleeve shirt because it keeps the bugs off of me, but I could wring this shirt out right now already. I've only been back here in the woods 40 minutes. It is stiflingly hot today. Squirrels are going nuts all around me. That's back in the direction we came from. There was another one over here. Something over there. I just heard brush moving again. I shit you not. There's something over there, guys. That is the third time I've heard brush move. That is back in the direction we just came from. That time. 100% for sure I heard brush moving. It might even be on this camera. There it goes again. Alright, fuck it. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Half of you guys are going to say, why wouldn't you just sit there quietly record? We've done that. I could clearly hear it moving, still moving, constantly. When I decided to make a run for it over here to where I could hear it, I could hear it moving. I saw nothing, I heard nothing. So what the hell, if that was deer, they would have took off. I would have seen white flags, I would have heard them running. And now I hear ravens. The ravens started actually before I took off running. You guys comment below and you let me know in the future. We've done both. We always go to see if we can find what we're hearing. Okay, and the reason I'm going that way is because of the rock clacking that we heard. I don't see any rocks anywhere. I mean, I've been looking along the ground. There's nothing suspicious. And then, you know, we get 300 yards in here and then I hear something moving in the brush back from where we came from. And I'm hoping it's on this camcorder. it wasn't that far from me, guys. 100 yards, 150 yards. I could hear brush moving. Somebody makes a comment on the last video. If you're that afraid of the bush, you shouldn't be out there. I'm not afraid of the bush, guys. In fact, I'm trying to find what's out here with me. I just point out everything I hear because we're hearing it. And I don't know what these microphones pick up and what they don't. If I was afraid of the bush, I wouldn't be out here. There wouldn't be a video series. All right, I'm gonna do something I just popped into my head here. In the last video, I did capture whistling, but I didn't hear it. That's a property marker between my neighbors and mine. Some of you guys are going to ask me, what's the orange ribbon? So I'm no longer on my property, I'm on my neighbor's. That's okay, we have an agreement. They use mine, I can use theirs. Nobody's ever back here. In the last video, I captured whistling during the editing process. I heard it with my earphones on, but the strange thing was, guys, when we were out in the field, I'm looking this way with the camera and all of a sudden you see me pan over here like I heard something, but I didn't really hear something to make me stop or say, oh crap, that was whistling, because whistling always makes my defenses go up. The hair on the back of my neck, I'm just like, but I heard it during the editing process. It was there. It was very windy that day as well, so maybe that's why I didn't hear it in the field. Guys, I would give anything for a stitch of breeze right now. Okay, we're gonna turn the camera back around and keep going back towards the stone box in the direction. I'm thinking there's all kinds of rocks up there, and that's why I'm thinking maybe the clacking was coming from up there. I mean, if you look on the ground here, I'll show you guys the ground. There are no loose rocks lying around. It's all wood and swamp. But up there is a big chunk of bedrock, and I believe that there are loose rocks. If you look around, there are no rocks anywhere. I mean, there's big rocks sticking out of the ground, and the bedrock starts right over here where that big mound is. So right in here in this area is where I was thinking the clacking was coming from. I see some rocks right there. These are all too big. There's the stone box right there. I've always thought that this looked like an old road right here. It just has that feel to it. Okay, let's see if this feather is still in this box. And it is. It's not sticking up out of the ground anymore. And there are 2 pine cones in there. Okay, so I've wedged the feather between the 2 rocks right there sticking up. Let's see. Let's leave it there. It could have easily fallen over on its own or something. I was expecting it to be gone, and I don't know if these mean anything. They did almost look placed in here, just 2 pine cones right in the center. Let's get rid of those and see if there's any more that are brought back in. So nothing obvious in the middle here, and that wedged into the rocks. I'm gonna head down here to the swamp, and let's just zoom across and take a look at the swamp while we're here. There are rocks up here that are small. We'll look and see if we see any marks like that where something's been disturbed. I haven't seen any yet. Except these have been turned over. Pieces of moss. Lichen. It's very dry right now this time of year. There's another feather. Well, that's an easy one to identify. That's a raven feather. Let's put that in the box. we might as well. Okay. We might as well. We're right here at the box. Might as well stick this in there as well, and we'll have 2 of them. Okay, so I leaned this rock against that one, and then we've got the barred owl feather over there. All right, forest spirits, people, whatever. If you're real and you're here and you're watching and you're listening, I gift you those 2 feathers. You can have them. They're yours. Oh my God, it's so hot. So this lichen that was turned over, that could be the fox. The fox will come around and dig up in here for mice. There's more turned over right there. Tremendous amount of zoom on this little camcorder. You can see the stabilization kind of jumps around a little bit. I'm doing the best I can with it, guys. It is not as good as the Sony, but we do get more reach. The other bad thing is that you can hear the stabilization system working. in the recordings. I can hear it. So another mile and a half over there. Wait, I'm gonna try something. This camera also has the HDR record. Let's try that just to see what it looks like. Okay, there's HDR mode. I know I'm extremely backlit right here, but that's another feature that the Sony did better, was light to dark contrast. It balanced way better than this camera. So a mile and a half, okay, that way guys is the highway. So I can actually hear the odd transport or something going off there. Whether it's picked up by the microphone or not, I don't know. But so basically, if there was a Bigfoot here, it's got about a 3.5 mile corridor from the highway over there, maybe 4 miles, to the edge of the lake. And it's all swamp, right? It's swamp down there for 15, 20 kilometers that it would have to traverse here to go north. So, I don't know. I've always said that if there were Bigfoot, they wouldn't be here in this 20-kilometer patch unless they're moving, unless they're traveling. Okay? They would be north of here, 400 or 500 kilometers north of here, where there's no stupid humans to bother them. But the stuff that we capture right here in this swamp that goes on, I call it paranormal. I don't know what else to call it. I'm telling you guys, something was behind me in the swamp back there. And immediately, as soon as we heard that something, I heard ravens behind me again. I always have to, now at this point, associate the ravens with strangeness, because every time it happens, we hear whistling, or I hear something, or I start getting the goosebumps, and then the ravens start calling. So at this point, 4 or 5 years into this journey, whatever it is, guys, I can't write that off as nothing. We have traveled across that little corridor right there. There's a beaver dam, or there was, and we went up into there a couple years ago, and I found a strange structure up in there. Maybe we should go back in there. Not today, it's too far, it's too hot, but we've only ever been over in there once. Let's see if I can get you guys a better view. So there is a land bridge. It goes right there. This swamp empties into the next one, and there's a big beaver dam that crosses right there. And we can get up in there. And go off all the way down along through there. But I will tell you guys, it's dangerous country. And if I go into places like that, ain't nobody coming to find me. When we go back in there, nobody knows where I am. Nobody knows where I am right now. You know, oh, he's behind the house in the swamp, but where? It's vast, you know, and it's bog, right? You walk out into that, or you step on a floating mat, you could disappear. There's some big holes in the rocks back there. There was quite a deer trail, and I showed you guys. It's got to be from the My Bigfoot series, okay? It's probably 3 years ago, 4 years ago that we were back in there, and it was not caves, but like you could fall down into the rocks, and they looked like they were 10, 12 feet deep, like big enough for a person to slip and fall into in there. There are so many dangers here, guys. I have to be very careful. And that's why it would be awesome to have somebody, you know, Grant or somebody, to go travel with me when I want to go to those farther back places. Because even if I don't get swallowed up by bog or cracks in the rock, I could, you know, roll an ankle, and the same thing, I'm not getting out of there. So I have to be super careful. There's that raven again. All right, I'm gonna walk back over, and we're gonna go back to where the Parabolic dish is recording and see if there's anything over there. No signs of rocks for clacking, and I didn't hear any more clacking, but this is the general area where it was coming from. Here's a deer trail right here that I'm talking about, if you guys can see it or not, but it comes out right here between those two trees. And it comes up right here, and you'll see where the deer have turned up the ground as they're walking up this rock right here and just crossing along the edge of the swamp right there and into there. There's one of the structures that I pointed out to you guys years ago. 2, 3, 4, 5 poles all meeting at a central tree over there. We're right back where we heard that rustling sound. Where I ran to was somewhere close here in this area. Okay, I've got the recorder, guys. It's quite a long recording on there. 42 minutes. I'll have to go through that and see if we captured anything else. I need to get home and have a shower. I just feel so gross right now. I'm sure I have pine needles all down the back of my neck. Any of you guys that walk the woods or hunting, you know if I go like that right now, it's going to be all dirt and pine needles and cobwebs and sweat. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll catch you in the next adventure. Oh, one more thing before I go. I want you guys to comment below. What do you think of this new Panasonic? I know it has some shortcomings compared to the Sony. I just miss my old Sony, but I think it has a lot of good things going for it. More zoom, it's smaller. The battery lasts like twice as long in it. Also, when I zoom in on sticks and things to show you guys, I don't have to go into manual mode, manual focus. It just focuses where I want it to. The Sony never did. I was forever pushing that. Right now, I'm not even in manual focus, so I believe I'm in focus and not the background. I could be wrong. Oh, there's the face box right there. So now I know I'm in focus. Other than the dealing with light and dark, which I don't like, it doesn't do it as good. Maybe the Sony shot in HDR mode all the time. I don't know. You guys, please comment below and let me know what you think. Not like I'm going to change the camera out or anything, but we do have the Sony Ax53, which is quite a bit bigger and heavier, and I'm not opposed to using that, you know, if we need to. I think the stabilization's better on this camera than the Ax700. Let me know what you guys think.